What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of the Pissed Rhino Show. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to watch my videos, and hopefully you get something out of them. But anyway, today we are going to review the Basher Infraction. I've done a lot of upgrades to it since the last time I talked about it. So we're going to go through it step by step so that anybody could build it. They would know what to get. Now I will say that to do what I've done to this has taken a bunch of little modifications. A little Dremel here, a little Dremel there. So it's not plug and play by no means. None of these companies work together to make everything work together. So you got to make them work, and that's just how custom building is. So let's roll this guy on over. So you can see here, we've got stock body. Just going through the outside. So stock body, it's got aluminum skid plates on the roof. These are made by YZX. I got the Power Hobbies wing. I don't have this on my true speed run cars, but it looks pretty cool on my little Basher here, and that's what it's all about. Ground clearance, I can't get a finger underneath it. I can get my fingernail underneath it, but that's it. So it's sitting very low, very tight suspension. Very cool. Got a set of Toyo 888s, I think they are, and these are made by Proline, which we love Proline stuff. You can also see, not completely, but the nuts and the wheel axles are titanium by RamJam. My favorite place, RamJam Racing. Don't forget, right now, we still have a RamJam 10% off code, which is Rhino. That's going to be changing very soon because of the next build. But I'm hoping for the next build we have more discounts from more awesome suppliers. So I know I've already got some deals in the works, and there's a couple others that I'm trying. I did just write them last night, way too late. So I probably won't hear back from some of them until Monday. But I think Monday, hopefully Monday is long enough that I can, excuse me, that I can get those out to you. I'll make a video no matter what, just to let everybody know. Because I know there's some places, I mean like RamJam, 10% off, that's killer. But there's other places that might give 10% off, or even 5%. I've got one company just wanting to do 5%, but they're different. They sell something they make, and they try to sell it very cheap to compete with other Chinese manufacturers. So there's not much room there for price reduction. Plus, they've never done it before. They've never had a sale. They've never given anybody a discount code. So I think going from absolutely not to 5% just for us is pretty cool. So More about that later once I get all the codes and everything lined up properly. I'll let y'all know. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and take the body off maybe. These chrome, they're not chrome, they're actually polished aluminum body mounts, body posts. Work great. Unfortunately, these are the old style clips, and I need to put the new style on there. I've got them, I just got to put them on. God damn. And these are all new, so they need to wear in a little bit. Alright, shit. Let's get rid of the body. Nothing else on the body's changed. Stock body with a wing and some skid plates, and that's it. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? I mean, all black and silver. I got just a tiny bit of color on the fan mounts, and I wish I would have ordered the black ones. And I still might, because you know my OCD really kicks in like stuff like this here. So we'll see. Let's go to the bottom first. The bottom is kind of cheesy. I kind of went the cheesy way. But alright, so what we can see first, we got a carbon fiber front splitter. It's got a cool little design, something different. It don't stick out very far, which I want one to stick out for some reason. I don't know, it's just what's in my head. But that's carbon fiber. We've got the titanium screws from RamJam. These are sliders, skid plates. And then we have carbon fiber wheel cutouts to cover up the front. We've got this huge, I want to say aluminum. It's not steel. It's just like aluminum. So it's not going to hold up very well, but if it protects the chassis, I guess they're worth it, even though I can buy a chassis for like $40 from Jenny's RC, but I don't know. I ordered them, so I put them on. We got the center Arma logo skid plate. I should say the Mid-Eastern. Then we got this little skid plate here. This little skid plate's weird. It's got two holes out here that my chassis don't have. And that's the direction it's supposed to go. So, I don't know. I might have to cut this off. It might be strong enough to be okay. But if this bends out any, then it's got to go. I haven't tried to bend it in. I think it's touching. I don't know. And then let's scroll on over here. If my camera looks fuzzy, I apologize. I'm not sure what's going on, but it looks fuzzy to me. We've got the Arma pieces back here as well. These are skid plates. On my other two, these are titanium, so that when you skid, it shoots sparks out. And but on this one, it gets the cheap aluminum ones. Like I said, just because I ordered them. We got the winglets. Let's see if you can see the winglets. I swear it looks like this is recording on a potato. It looks horrible. Got our winglets right here. I think that's it for the bottom. Oh, our side panels. So we have carbon fiber side panels. And pretty much the only thing they do is hold the fender covers in place. So that's why they're on there. There's no battery sitting on them or anything like that. These are just regular old, I think, eBay. Like 20 bucks on eBay, something like that. So yeah, the bottom is, I mean, it's still got the stock chassis, still got stock rear diffuser, but it does have some protection. Some aluminum skid plates. Alright, let's get back down here. Some of this stuff will be hard to see, but I'll figure it out. So I want to get the camera in there. First thing is this one has aftermarket shocks. I got these off of eBay, I believe. And they come with their the round eyelet for mounting, and it really works really good. The springs are Perfect Pass speed run springs. Very, very tight. Let's see if I can get you over here. Yeah, you can see that. Very tight. Not much movement. The A-arms are plastic. Those are stock. The links, the front steering links, which hard for you to see this angle. Maybe I'll do that. But still, these are covering it. Anyway, the links right here. Those are titanium from RamJam. We got aluminum shock towers. They're a no-name brand that I found on eBay as well. But they're aluminum, and all the holes were correct. You know, I'm sure they're not no 70, 75 or whatever it is, but we'll see. I mean, this is my toy. The other two are not toys, but this one is something I built just to play around with. Kind of went a little overboard, as you can see, but, you know, it works. We have Treal bulkheads front and back. You'll get to see those better when we get to the back. We've got an M2C steering plate. This plate right here. We have GPM hinge pin holders, which you can see that one right there. This one is by Scorched because it's the only one I can find that has screw holes in it instead of just through holes. See, this is not held in with the screw. The actual hinge pin is the screw. And that's the best way to go. I mean, it's so much easier to tighten up your system and get everything where it needs to be. If we look at the bell cranks, these are made by Scorched as well. Get you a good picture here. So this is the right side one. As you can see, there's no servo saver. At this point, none of my infractions have servo savers. And that's because I want the full availability of my steering. I don't want it, when I steer, I want it to steer. I don't want it to lag. So that's why I got rid of those. Because if you're going 150, 200 mile an hour, you just need good steering. All right. I guess, well, let's go. We got, this is Scorched. So my steering anchorman is by Scorched. It's got the ball bearings that they sell in it, and it does make it so smooth. I can get it up here. And you can turn it with just pushing with your finger. Look how smooth that is. I mean, everybody go get your ARMA vehicles. All the steering's the same. All the components, sizes, and everything are the same. Except mine's upgraded to some parts that I can trust. And then you get steering like this. The only thing that's holding it back from being just sloppy is the servo. If I disconnected the servo, these would just flop all around. But as you can see, it's got good steering angle, and it's so easy. I mean, it's just, go out and try and do this on your car. Tell me if you can do it. I know my big Creightons can't do it. Well, actually, the show Creighton can do it because I went back through it and modded it to make it nice like this one. All right, so the first big elephant in the room is this Scorched carbon fiber brace. It's a center brace. It's bowed. You guys know, like a bow and arrow, how strong the actual bow part is because it's bowed. And that's the premise behind this center brace. It comes with these little cones for here and for here, but I wanted everything to match, so I put those cones on my fans. I put them on my servo. I put them on my, anywhere there was a M3 screw, I put them on there. Even on these ones in here that are hidden, I put them on there. And the whole point is, it's, the pattern carries through. It just, on the next video, I'll be going through the blue one, and you'll notice it a lot better. This one's black and silver, so not much stands out. Everything stands out, if you know what I'm saying. Like the carbon fiber here, and then you got carbon fiber here, and then you got carbon fiber under here. It all just flows. What else I got here? Oh, inside the diffs, I have RamJam lockers with the stock spur and pinion, or whatever you want to call them. So I'm using the stock gears from the car, but I put them on lockers, put them back in, adjusted everything, got the bearings all set up, which are all ceramic bearings. Put it all together, and it was stuck. So I took it back apart. I saw a little mark where they had been rubbing, so I got out the old Dremel again, Dremeled out the side post that's inside. You can't see it, so it's inside. obviously. Journaled that out a little bit, put it all back together, tried it, and it was smooth as silk. I had to do that on both of them, by the way, but doing it, and it sounds horrible because it's got 2 gears going into one, but it doesn't sound as bad as some of them. And literally, it just very smooth, even though it sounds like a sewing machine. But that's what you get with all the Arrma cars. There's no quiet spell you can put on these things. I guess so that leads us into the dual motors. And what I wanted to do with this build, it popped into my head right as when I got it, is that I'm going to put a dual motor setup in it so that I get used to it for when I build the next build that's coming up. So, I had one motor and one ESC, so I went on Jenny's RC and bought a second motor and ESC. I went to RamJam and bought the motor mount, which is a dual motor mount. And I bought the gears I needed. And then after just putting it together, you got a dual motor setup. Trying to get it where you can see the gearing, but you can see this side. You can see the other side a little bit over there. So that's what it looks like. And then, well, everything's spooled in lockers, so if I try to do this, the wheels have to move. But that's the only thing that makes noise in the drivetrain are these gears. I might have to adjust them a little bit more, but they're still going to be noisy as hell. I mean, that's just part of it. Other parts that I haven't mentioned yet. I got RamJam titanium drive shafts. Front and rear. The front one's hard to get to, but the rear one's nice and open. I've got, I think these are, I gotta read it. Yeah, Integrity. I thought it was Integrity. I bought the full set, but of course I can't run the fronts on here. And my next build isn't going to have any of these, so that'll be fun. But you can see on this side, you see we got the motor, the gear, the ESC. Now, if anybody has any questions about how you go about hooking up dual motors and dual ESCs, just let me know. I'll be glad to give you any information I have, or I can send you to the right place to get the information. So keep that in mind. It's really not bad. For about $160, you can have a dual motor setup. So that's crazy, right? Oh, wait. Oh, shoot. I forgot about the motor mount. So $270. Yeah. But that's pretty cheap. So what's a car like this cost? $599, and then you put a bunch of mods in it. After that, $250 ain't bad. And you can get a cheaper motor mount. You can get a dual motor mount on eBay for like $29. I went with the RamJam because I can trust RamJam and I know I'm not going to have any issues. But you can go cheap if you want. If you go cheap, you can do the whole thing for about $200. But if you go the way I did, you're going to be about $370. So you can save a little bit of money on that, on the cheap motor mounts. What else up front? That's the front. Now we talk about the servo. So this is a NSDRC small parts servo. It is an SS200. It's the lower end. You know, there's an SS600, which is, you know, pretty good for helicopters and for speed usage and plenty of torque, obviously. And then this is the lower one. This is a shorty limited space servo, which I like. It keeps the servo out of the way up on this part, so it's very cool. But the main thing is the servo. One, the company is great. Two, the servo is very powerful, very fast. Way too much for this vehicle, but I don't know, you might need it if you get in a ditch or something. But yeah, great servo, great customer service. Go check out NSDRC and pick the servo for you. There's a ton of servos there. So, I mean, you don't have to use what I'm running. Just look at the specs and pick the servo that you want. If you need a lot of torque, you might go with the R1. If you need speed, you're going to go SS600. Just depends on what you need most. And then after you find what you need most, then out of the ones that have that, you pick the best one, you know, so let's say speed. One's a 0.8, one's a 0.9, and one's a 0.6 in speed. So 0.6 is what you're looking for because you want the fastest servo out there. And then you look at torque. So once you find multiple 0.6 speed servos, 1 or 2 or 3, then you look at their torque and then pick the best amount of torque. Or if you need a different size or height and all this stuff, that's how you pick your servo. So if I'm a monster truck guy and I want 40 kilograms of torque, I find that servo that meets that expectation. And if there's more than one, then I pick out the fastest one out of those. Or if I have to have a shallow servo, I mean, that's how you go through it. If you're running a race car, you know you're going to go for speed first. If you're running a monster truck, you're probably going to go torque first. And then figure out what's the best path after that. If you're open, size don't matter, color don't matter, then you can go in and get the most torque and then find the one with the fastest speed on that servo. So, I hope that didn't confuse everybody. It was kind of sidetracked, but I just want to make sure you don't get frightened about purchasing servos. Amazon is not the way, guys. Amazon is not the way to find good servos. Just like eBay. I wouldn't buy an eBay servo because as many servo suppliers as there are, there's counterfeit servos everywhere. So you might think you got, a $500 servo, but it's got $25 worth of parts in it. So you got to be careful. That's why once I found a servo company that worked, I just stayed with them. And it's been great. No problems. All right. So we've got our two ESCs, we got our two power buttons, we got our GPM receiver box. This one's just running a 315, I believe. 3-channel. And then we got our battery connectors, and you can see that I added the furry side of Velcro here to cover up all my screws so that your battery, when you slide a battery in, you're not tearing it up on these screws. It actually worked really well. It looks decent. And then I put down a bed of heavy duty industrial grade Velcro. I'm going to do the dual locks on the next build, but I didn't even know that existed until like 2 days ago. So it's a possibility my OCD takes off and I have to put the dual lock in all of these, but hopefully I can control myself to not do that. Because I just did this and that would be wasting $30 worth of Velcro. Alright, let's get back to the back. So here's the other end of the bow, the center brace, and then you have your rear brace here. So you have to use this connection. Now, one thing I want to show you guys is because all of this is coming up on the next build. But here is part of these. This is that right there. So this part's going to come, well, it sits back here. But as you can see, it only goes to right there. So that's the last spot. There's no hole for that screw that does this and this. So my next build, I wasn't going to run this brace anyway. And now I'm not going to run this either. So I've got to do a lot of stuff. I've got these already, so that cleans up this spot. I'm going to mount my servo properly in the next build. Not this isn't proper, but it's kind of weird. Very difficult to work on, by the way. If one of those screws starts coming loose, you have to take half the car apart to get to it. But anyway. Also on this one, I wanted to say that I Loctited everything. If it's a component that needs to be tight forever, I put some red Loctite on all the screws, and hopefully that'll keep them from backing out a little bit. That's a bad thing about replacing parts with metal, because screws are much more likely to back out of aluminum or a metal than a plastic. A plastic, unless you strip it. If you strip it, well, that's going to come out 10 times faster. But all right. You can see we've got the big old aluminum shock tower. I really like them. Cheap. I think they're like 15 bucks each or something like that. Maybe 27 for two. Here you can see the Treal bulk house. I hope my arm's not in the way. And then you can see the RamJam lockers have output cups with it. So these are brand new. I mean, everything on the car is brand new. Obviously, it's a brand new car, but compared to stock, these are much better. And then I had a set of ADU. Yeah, the ADU that comes with the gold screws. I got their the input shaft cups. These are made by ADU Racing. So got a little bit of ADU in there too for all you guys that love ADU. Again, we've got GPM lower hinge pin mounts. We've got new sway bars with sway bar links. We've got titanium toe links. We got the shocks I talked about. Body posts. These are so cool. These are made by Perfect Pass RC. And they're so shiny. And then when you start putting this stuff in there, the shiny and the shiny. And then when you go to put one of these in here, they're shiny bulkheads, which are awesome. These will get put in to the next build. I decided not to go back through my other builds and do those because I only bought one set and then they went out of stock. So that's something. Let me show. I'm going to build the next build with NSDRC Servo, but I do have this Perfect Pass Monster Servo that I'm going to test out for myself, not for anybody else, but for myself. So, all right, get to the back of this thing. Again, you can see the Treal bulkheads. You can get a pretty good look at those through there now. You got the body post mount, and then the body post support, body post mount, and then the body post. These are by GPM down here for the hinge pin mounts. Treal for the bulkhead, and then generic but sturdy aluminum diffuser holders or braces or supports, I think they're called. And I think that about wraps this one up. I can't think of anything else. Every piece is different than stock except for the ring and pinion gears and the differentials front and rear. The middle one's completely different. The chassis, the aluminum chassis, is stock. The A-arms are plastic, they're stock. And then the big plastic plate in the front, this little plate here in the front, all these plastic pieces in the front and the rear diffuser are all stock parts. But everything from here to here, other than the chassis, is like brand redone. Everything's redone. I think that's it, guys. Everything works like it should. Everything's flawless. It's been raining for the last few days, so I haven't been able to take it out. The plan is, like I said before, this is my basher. If anybody likes it and wants to buy it, you better hurry up, because I will be taking this out soon as the weather turns around. So yeah, throwing that out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Oh, plus we got the wheelie bar back there. that might be going on it at some point. Turn it into a drag cart. I mean, it's going to be fast, but it's not going to... I mean, it might do... With the gearing I have, if I can get a good takeoff, probably 150. But it's not a dedicated speedrun car. It might go fast, but I also want to drift, do donuts, drag race. This will be the beater that I mess with whenever I get bored. So you'll probably see this in a month or two, and it'll be completely different. It'll have 2 TP power motors in it. A couple big old ESCs. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. The Basher Infraction. I really like this build. It was simple. There was a lot of extra work that went into it, but you know, you still got a stock look, but it's badass. It is badass. Once you get the body on it in the proper position, it's like slammed on the ground and ready to go. And it'll get that chance very soon. Alright, so what's coming up next? So the next video you see will be the same style video for the single motor speedrun Infraction. The blue and silver truck, which is badass. It is 99% done. After I put everything together, I realized that the axle, the wheel axles / nuts, they're from Just Bash It RC, and they'd be great on a, you know, the big Creightons and stuff, but they look really weird on an Infraction. So I'm ordering a new set of titanium so I can put those on that one as well, and it'll be done. But I'm going to go ahead and do the video anyway, even though it looks weird with the big nut center caps. Oh, I forgot to tell you about this. So I was just thinking, you know, when I drift the little cars, 1/28 scale, I had a gyro box in it, and it just helped it drift so much because I'm not an expert on drift. This takes all the guesswork out of it for you. So I'm thinking I could put this in this truck, and then hopefully I'll be able to drift like a madman. So I bought one of these. I want to throw it in there, and then we're going to see what happens. Pretty excited about that too. That'll be fun. That will be fun. Alright, I am going to get busy cleaning up my little shop here so that come Monday I can start the next big build. But I also got to do some other videos for you guys. And those will be coming up soon. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Please subscribe, like, and share if possible. And then I will see you next time here on the Pastrana Show. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you.